Sir, could you pretend to be my daddy, just for one day? The little girl's voice was so soft it almost disappeared into the busy hum of the cafe-lined street, yet it struck Ethan Cross harder than any boardroom confrontation ever had. Ethan, the 42-year-old CEO of one of the fastest-growing tech empires in the city, paused mid-step, his perfectly polished shoes halting beside a wrought iron bench. He looked down, confused at first, then stunned. The girl couldn't have been more than 5. Her hair was slightly messy, tied back with a faded ribbon, her dress clean but worn, and her eyes, those eyes, held a seriousness far beyond her age. People begged Ethan for things every day: time, money, favors, signatures, mercy. No one had ever begged him for something so strange, so fragile, so human. He glanced around instinctively, expecting a parent to rush over, but there was no one. Just her. "I'm sorry," he said carefully, and used to speaking gently. "What did you say?" She swallowed, gripping the hem of her dress like it was the only thing keeping her brave. "Just today," she repeated. "My school is having a Father's Day thing. Everyone has a dad coming. I don't. They said I could bring someone. And you look like someone who wouldn't be mean." The words hit him in pieces: Father's Day, school, someone who wouldn't be mean. Ethan had built billion-dollar companies, negotiated hostile takeovers, and dismantled competitors with cold precision, yet this tiny stranger unraveled him in seconds. His own childhood flashed before him uninvited: a silent house, a mother working double shifts, a father who vanished when responsibility knocked. He had sworn he would never need anyone, never be vulnerable, never be the man who disappointed a child. And yet here stood a child asking him to be exactly that, a father, even if only pretend. "What's your name?" he asked, crouching slightly so they were eye level, ignoring the stares of passers-by who recognized him from magazines. "Lily," she said. "My teacher says I'm good at drawing. I made a card already." She reached into her little backpack and pulled out a folded piece of paper, edges frayed, crayon colors bleeding through. On the front was a stick figure man and a smaller stick figure girl holding hands under a crooked sun. Inside, in uneven letters, it read, "To my dad." Ethan felt something crack in his chest, something old and sealed shut. He thought of his calendar: meetings, investors, flights, power lunches. He thought of the headlines he was supposed to make tomorrow. He thought of how ridiculous this was. Then he thought of Lily standing alone in a school hall while other children ran into their father's arms. He exhaled slowly. "Just one day?" he asked. Lily nodded so fast her ribbon bounced. "I promise I won't bother you after. I just don't want to be the only one without someone." He looked at the card again. A day. One day wouldn't ruin his empire. But saying yes would change something, even if he didn't yet know what. "All right," he said quietly. "Just for one day." Lily's face lit up with a smile so bright it felt unfair to keep it temporary. "Really?" "Really," he confirmed. She stepped forward without asking and wrapped her arms around his leg in a clumsy hug. Ethan froze, then awkwardly placed a hand on her back, unsure, until the warmth of that simple contact melted his hesitation. The next morning, Ethan arrived at Lily's school feeling more nervous than he had before his first IPO. He wore a casual sweater instead of a suit, something he hadn't done in years. Lily ran to him when she saw him, calling out, "Daddy." The word echoed, loud and clear, and for a split second he considered correcting her. He didn't. Other fathers glanced over, some curious, some indifferent. They played games in the schoolyard, painted mugs, and listened to children talk about superheroes and dreams. Lily proudly introduced him to everyone as her dad who builds computers and fixes broken things. Ethan laughed more that morning than he had in months. When Lily climbed into his lap during story time, resting her head against his chest, he realized how empty his life had been despite all its luxury. After the event, he was supposed to leave. That was the deal. One day. Pretend. But as he walked her home, Lily chattered about everything: her favorite color, how her mom worked late, how she wished bedtime stories lasted longer. At her apartment door, she hesitated. "Thank you," she said softly. Today was the best day. Ethan knelt again, his throat tight. "You're welcome, Lily." He turned to leave, then stopped. What about tomorrow? He asked before he could stop himself. She looked up, confused. Tomorrow. He cleared his throat. I mean, if you ever need help. Or someone to come to school again. Her smile returned, gentler this time. That would be nice. That night, Ethan sat alone in his penthouse, staring at the city lights. For the first time, success felt small. The next day, he sent his assistant a single message, clear my afternoons. Over the weeks that followed, one day turned into many. Homework sessions, ice cream trips, bedtime stories. Lily's mother, initially wary, slowly saw the sincerity in him. Ethan found himself learning how to braid hair, how to listen, how to care. And Lily, who had only asked for a pretend dad for one day, gave a lonely CEO a reason to come home. Years later, when Ethan officially adopted Lily, reporters asked him what the turning point of his life was. He smiled and said, "The day a little girl asked me to pretend." If this story touched your heart, remember that sometimes one small act can change a life forever. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful, emotional stories that remind us what truly matters, because you never know, one story might change your day, just like one day changed Ethan and Lily's lives forever.